everybody. We are talking today about coronavirus scams. I just wanted to come live so that we all were updated about everything that's going on. It's all changing so quickly. So we've got a really important topic for you all today, and we're going to make sure that we get all of your questions answered. So last week, if you tuned in, we talked a lot about the coronavirus stimulus checks, and it kind of trails into what we're talking about today because there are some scams going on right now that are relative to the coronavirus stimulus checks. So we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got a lot to cover. I did get some questions about the coronavirus stimulus checks. So if you haven't received your check and you thought you had a direct deposit with the IRS, then go check out my last week's podcast or episode, because I talked a little bit about how you can check the status of your stimulus check payment. So down in the bottom, in the comments of that episode, you will see the link to the IRS Get My Payment tool. And there you can check where your stimulus check was sent or is going to be sent, and you can also get a status of whether or not that's been sent. And if it's not been sent, you have the opportunity to file for your taxes this year and update that information. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask them. Today, though, we are talking about coronavirus scams and all the different things that are going on right now. So we've got a ton of information for you guys. We're covering a lot of different things. So if you have questions about scams, if you have any insights into things that are happening right now, be sure to drop them in the comment box. I'll get those answered. I've also got some resources for you guys that I'll drop in there today, and we'll make sure we get all your questions answered. So I have a ton of stuff, and I'm pulling up my notes. So with the coronavirus pandemic, unfortunately, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. People are a little bit more vulnerable. Everything is just a little bit more vulnerable right now with all the different changes and the updates and the never-ending news alerts that are going on. And with the quick changes becomes the opportunity for scammers and hackers to take advantage of that ever-changing information and present to you a lot of false information. So we did the research for you. We've got all the facts. We've got a lot of the scams that are active right now that you should be looking out for. And we've got information on how you can protect yourself right now. So if you have questions about scams, make sure you ask us. But we've got some really great information for you today to make sure you're informed moving forward. So the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, has received 22,000 consumer complaints related to the coronavirus pandemic for scams, specifically scams related to the pandemic. That's huge. That's a lot of people. And unfortunately, the losses related to those scams are almost $17 million. So that's a lot of people being affected, and the median loss per individual is $557, which that financial amount goes a long way right now when we're all, when people are unfortunately unemployed and they need help paying their bills, which is what the coronavirus check is for. So so almost $17 million, $16.6 million in losses have gone towards coronavirus scams. So some of those scams that we're seeing right now are, of course, relative to the stimulus checks. People are being targeted for information regarding those checks. So scammers and there's phishing emails and texts going around that are saying, we can speed up your government funds if you provide us bank account information or a blank check, and we'll get your direct deposit updated. Or, we can give you more money if you give us some extra information about your income and your social security number and things like that. So it's important to know right now that the only place you can go to update your information relative to the coronavirus stimulus checks is the IRS website, irs.gov. So go to irs.gov if you have questions about where your check was sent or where it will be sent, what bank account information they have available. That's the only place that you'll go. The IRS is not sending any sort of communication. It never sends any sort of communication via text or phone call or email. They are sending a confirmation of where they sent their check about 14 days after it's been sent. So make sure you just go to their website. That's the only place that they'll be able to. Thanks, Hannah. That's the only place that they will be able to update your information is the IRS website. So on that note, some of the other coronavirus related scams going around right now are information for cures, treatments, and vaccines for the COVID-19 virus. Unfortunately, there are not any vaccines yet for COVID-19. So vaccines are in the works, and a lot of different companies are working diligently to make sure that there is a vaccine in the future. But right now, there is no vaccine. There is no miracle cure for the virus. So any website or email or social media ad that you might see out there for a cure or treatment or a vaccine that's maybe asking you for information to send you that vaccine or money so you pay for that vaccine, that's all false right now. So please be careful. Don't fall for any of those scams. Additionally, people are targeting users for a lot. There's a high demand right now for things like personal protection equipment, masks, gowns, gloves, home goods like toilet paper. People are utilizing those high demand items to overcharge for those items and even charge for those items with no intent of sending them. So if you are in need of those items, just look online to some of your local stores, grocery stores and warehouse stores are really diligently working to make sure that they have that equipment available, those home goods available to you. So don't go to a new website that you've never been to before and order masks or request information by giving your email or personal information, anything like that, to get gloves or masks or anything. So there's also a scam. It's called penny stock fraud. These scammers claim that a company has some sort of capability to prevent or detect or have provided a treatment for COVID-19, and they're saying it's a huge investment opportunity. Invest in our company now, and you'll get your return. But what's happening is those scammers, those con artists, are investing in those penny stocks when they're really low, and then convincing a lot of people to invest, and then from there they dump off their shares once they've made a profit, and that saddles you, investors, with huge losses from those. So be very cautious about what you're investing in, and make sure that you're diligent. Another one that is super prevalent right now is relative to student loan forgiveness, because the government did announce that federal student loan payments were deferred until September. That's true. Your payments are deferred if they're federally owned. And you should be able to log in online or maybe have received some sort of email communication from that student loan account that your payments have been deferred and that your interest rate is currently 0. That said, there's nothing in this stimulus, this CARES Act, that talks about student loan forgiveness. So if you're not already in a student loan forgiveness program, chances are that there's not an extra step for student loan forgiveness other than the loan deferment, the payment deferment. And that's not actually forgiving your loans. That's just postponing those payments until September 30th. So be very wary of anybody offering student loan forgiveness at this time. Um, there are also some Medicare scams that you should be aware of. These scams say that Medicare is offering COVID-19 specific benefits, and they will provide you with a COVID-19 kit or coronavirus um, kit that has, protection equipment, vaccines, even, and those don't exist right now. They're asking for your social security number, your bank account information, or your Medicare number to get your personal information and use it for their own benefit, and it won't provide you with any sort of COVID-19 benefits. So it's super important with some of those, the Social Security Administration, the IRS, Medicare, they're not asking you for your information at this time to provide any sort of benefits. There are benefits out there. The stimulus check is being dispersed. If you have questions, go to irs.gov and plug in your information on their website, and they will be able to give you some information. There are a number of ways that these scams are being communicated: phishing emails, robocalls, text messages, direct mail. There are phony charities out there, social media advertising, headlines, and different online sites. And even people are being targeted on money apps like Venmo and PayPal. So a big one that's going on Venmo right now is people are being sent, $200-$300, and then they get a message that says, "Oops, can you please send that back?" And it's a fake receipt. And then you end up sending $300 back that you never actually received in the first place. So you're sending $300 of your own money to a stranger. So if that were to happen to you, just call Venmo directly and say, "I got this message," and, make sure that your vendor is informed as well. I actually personally received an email that was supposedly from PayPal a few days ago, where it looked as if PayPal had sent me, the sender was PayPal, and it was PayPal document formatted with the PayPal logo up at the top and the PayPal copyright down at the bottom. And it said, "Your account needs to be verified. Please click this link and log in." And I looked at the email address that it was actually sent from, even though the sender said PayPal. The email address was some really long email address that was certainly not PayPal, and likely just trying to get my PayPal information where I have my account information connected. So you can send those to PayPal's direct support team. If you go to PayPal's site, obviously don't click on any emails. PayPal has a support email where you can forward that email to them so that they're aware of that and can interfere from there. But it's just very important right now, some of the actions to take or not to take to prevent these scams are just be very wary. Don't click or call or reply or open any attachments in emails or texts. If you're getting phone calls and you don't recognize the number, if you can avoid it, just don't answer. Hopefully somebody, if it's important, will leave you a message. But there are other instances right now where people are getting phone calls from a local hospital, supposedly, and the hospital is requesting payment for a friend or relative that is in the hospital for COVID-19 care. This is really unfortunate because there's a lot of fear about this virus right now, and scammers and hackers are taking advantage of that by calling you and saying, "We need money now so that your loved one can get care." The hospitals aren't going to call you to say that. And if you do get a phone call like this, go online, Google it, make sure you Google the actual hospital, call their direct number, and verify. The chances are that that's inaccurate. That's one of the scams that is happening right now. That's very unfortunate. So ultimately, don't answer phone calls from numbers you don't recognize. And if you get a unnerving voicemail like that one, make sure you go online and verify exactly the information that you're getting. If you do get a phone call and you answer it and it's a recording, it's a robocall of some sort, just hang up. Don't press 0 to unsubscribe, just hang up. Chances are, if you press 0, you're confirming that the phone number that they've robocalled is a real person, so that you might get more phone calls from there. So just hang up if you do get a phone call, and don't click any links or attachments in emails. Some sure signs of a scam: if you're uncertain, or if you're questioning it, it might be a scam. So some sure signs are if you're being asked to provide money urgently, that they need money now or information right away so that they can get some information from you. Chances are it's a scam. Also, if you're being asked to pay with a gift card, send cash, or wire money, there's a good chance it's a scam there too. If you're seeing emails from users that you've never had communication with before, even if it's just something like a store nearby, but you've never shopped there, or you've never gone on their website, they might be targeting you, that your email could have been dispersed at some point to a list that is sending spammy emails. So be very careful if you start receiving emails from users that you are not aware of. And then lastly, like we talked about with the PayPal, if you're receiving unusual emails about some sort of account status, don't click any links in your emails that allow you to verify your account or change your password. If you haven't requested a password change, just go directly to the site, whatever that website may be, go directly there, log into your account, make sure it's okay, and then try to find some sort of support link where you can submit that email so that they're aware of what's going on. So the big question is, what do I do if I've become a victim to a scam, or not become a victim but have been targeted? The biggest thing you can do right now, especially, is talk about it. There are so many scams going on right now because of the ever-changing and evolving information. So talk about it. Tell people about the scam. Tell people you know. Tell people you don't know. If you have become a victim to a scam, your neighbor could become a victim to a scam, your family members, your friends. So make sure to just talk about it casually. Just say, I was targeted by this scam. You don't have to give details as far as, your specific situation, but definitely let them know what the email or text or phone call or website looked like. And then after you've talked to everybody about it, report it to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. I have a link here that you can file a complaint. So I'm going to put that in the chat. So it's ftc.gov/complaint. So if you have any sort of hesitancy, or if you have already become victim to a scam, go to the ftc.gov/complaint and file that. You can also call 1-877-FTC-HELP, HELP, to file that complaint. And then lastly, like I talked about, similarly to the PayPal or Venmo scam that's active right now, you can call or report it to that specific vendor so that they're aware of it on their side as well and can maybe interact. So if you have any questions about those specific scams, or if you have been targeted, we want to know about it. We want to know exactly how these are being delivered, and we want to make sure that we can inform the public as much as we can. So if you have any personal experience with this, just pop it in the comments, message me directly, message our page, and we will make sure that we do our best to inform everybody as well. So ultimately, what's next? How do you protect yourself, right? That's the big question. If you have become victim to a scam, or even right now with all of the changing and evolving circumstances in the economy, getting identity theft protection is a big one. So there are many different identity theft protection companies that you can look for and get identity theft protection at a very minimal cost. And what that does is it just monitors your different information and make sure that it's not on the dark web being utilized for things that you might not be aware of. The other thing you can do is call or go to annualcreditreport.com and get your credit report. Review your credit report and make sure that there's nothing on there that is not correct. So usually annualcreditreport.com, and I will put the link in there in the chat so you can get to it. But usually they provide one free each of the credit bureaus per year. Right now, they're doing it weekly. So you can get free access to weekly credit reports during COVID-19. And right now they're doing it through April 2021. So that's huge to be able to make sure that your accounts are looking okay, that your credit hasn't been targeted, that your identity is safe. So go to annualcreditreport.com. It's free weekly to look at your credit report. We're going to dive in a little bit to that more next week and the following weeks so that you know how to keep your credit and your identity safe. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to us. If you have questions about your credit report, you can call our credit coaches. It's free to call us. We can help you understand your financial circumstances and really dig into some of the ways you can improve your financial circumstances, reduce your debt, and improve your credit. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to help you, especially right now when everything is just a little bit more uncertain, and make sure that you're wary about any sort of information that you're giving, personal information you're giving out right now, and stay safe. So let us know. Tune in next week. We'll have a great show for you guys. We're going to do an interview with someone very special. So we'll get you more information on how exactly credit coaching works. So make sure to tune in to that show. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please let me know. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye.